Good morning. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Very good. So I think everyone is fully aware of Independent Group, but perhaps you would like to tell us a little bit about the company. There might be a few newcomers in the market, so perhaps you can give us a little bit about the history of Independent Group and how you started and where you are today.
Sure. Thank you so much, Simon, and good morning, everyone. Excited to be here with amazing leaders and talents. We've been in the market since 2009. Independent Food Company is originally how we have started in Dubai with one homegrown concept. What we tend to do is we create our own brands. We started with Switch, 2009 in Dubai Mall. Then we created Salt, the food truck. Then we've created Parker's somewhere. And recently we've acquired Joan the Juice to Saudi. We also have Public, which is a pizzeria. We're excited about creating our own brands more than just franchising. And I think it has so many reasons. And maybe we can start with your questions.
Well, you know how jealous everyone is that you got...
I know that I have 15 minutes, so I'm not going to take...
Fine. If we go over, we go over. I think it's going to be very interesting to hear today, so we're very excited. Deem, thank you for that. One of the questions I really sort of wanted to ask you is, where do you see the biggest gaps in the hospitality market at the moment? And which of those gaps do you think might stop the aspirations of becoming a world-class market? Where do you see that gap?
I think there are great opportunities in the market, and I think the moment we start looking at it is one major one is talents. It's a young market, a mature market. We've recently saw a huge transformation between it being just a QSR service restaurants to a more casual dining, fine dining in the recent years. And I think with all this experience-driven economy that is happening to the industry, I feel that we require different talents. And as the market will grow, I think there will be more mature, more experienced talents. The second part is the ecosystem. I feel that I think that the ecosystem and the services that are provided to the industry is yet to be matured. Like, let's take the fit-out industry as an example. For you to build a restaurant in Saudi is way more when it comes to time. It can take you up to a year or more. So I think that all the supportive industries that connects us to this sector is yet to be mature and yet to grow. And I feel that with the growth that have been happening in the past years, even within the entertainment sector, I think there is a huge room for us to get more talented or to grow more talented individuals. And eventually this will happen. I believe that with our trial and error, with the trainings, with the developments that are happening in the region as well.
Yeah. So I think that, you mentioned a couple of things there that are needed to sort of continue the growth and to support the growth to becoming world class. I'd love to dig a bit more into your thoughts around the talent piece and how you think that can be more supported going forward. What are your thoughts on that?
I think in general, the talents and the growth of the talents, first of all, the moment you start looking at your growth rate or your speed of growth, you tend to, especially here, I think it's with the Saudization, it's a great opportunity for us to explore new, younger Saudis who are capable of actually handling different positions in the restaurant, for example, from a restaurant manager or an assistant manager or a waiter or a host, and I think it adds so much value to the customer experience. So having said that, I think developing them, training them is something that we have been trying to do, and I think it's way more expensive in importing these talent than just train them and really develop them from...
I think when we were chatting over the weekend, we were saying one of the things that, having come back into Riyadh this weekend, in the hotel I'm staying in, I'd been here before and it was a nice experience. I came back this time and they'd obviously employed some Saudi staff as hosts in certain areas, and the level of hospitality had just jumped through the roof. It was amazing. You could see the pride that was there, which I think is a great to support that talent going forward. So I think it's very exciting. If we look at the Saudi market here as well, having all the experience you've got in Dubai, what do you see the opportunities for development here that will better support the sector as well in the future?
I think in Dubai, when it comes to the demographic or the customer base that we were to tackle or we were to cater to, we've been exposed to an international crowd and international visitors coming into Dubai on a yearly basis. And I think this gives us a different exposure on how to cater for them, how to cater for different lifestyle individuals. So I think when we came to this market and to Saudi, and I think this is where the relevancy is a key. Adapting your brand, but not adapting too much that it doesn't really appeal to them. But I think adapting the brand to the Saudi market was a key, especially with all what's happening in the social media scene, the TikTokers changing the scenery or changing the food trends. I think this is a very important factor to consider. And back to the...
We were talking about some of the things you've seen in Dubai, and where do you see some of those things helping developments?
Yes,
and
so I think the demographic, the exposure to international demographics, that adds so much value. We've been serving the Khaliji markets since 2009. So coming to Saudi wasn't something that is challenging, but it was great to see how can we really continue on the relevancy. I'll take an example of Salt Kite Beach. Salt one of the main pillars of Salt is to be on a beach destinations, to be on a water destination. We went to the eastern province and we had to get something from the municipality that is as good as Kite Beach. So we had to really develop that landscape in a way that there is a beach destination. We can still serve families on the beach. We can still offer this experience. And I think that's where adapting the brand or moving all of your pillars that made your brand successful to Saudi on the same way, not just entering as a shell and core location. And I think this is one of the making aspects where when we started looking at the real estate options that are available in the market, and we couldn't find something that really fit the brand's image, or we couldn't find something that fits the brand. And I think this is one main challenge that we've learned from Dubai is the real estate options and the facilities, from landscaping to the lighting to facility management itself, it brings the brand to a certain quality and certain standard, which here sometimes you would have to develop it yourself. So you would have to be the facility manager, you would have to be the developer, like our development that we did in DQ, which is great, but then you wouldn't just act like an F&B company, you would act like an F&B and a developer and so on and so on. So I think this is the only difference, and I think the more the market grows, the more the demands or the supply started to mature in the market, we will start seeing more availability of such quality of services and of products, of real estate products. And I think this is where it limits your growth sometimes, but then we will be looking at bigger malls, better facilities, that are in the market. So I think real estate is definitely a key. Demographic and international is another one. And I think the ability for homegrown concepts to be individually unique is important.
That leads me into my next question, and I think you're perfectly placed to answer it, having sort of started off internationally and come back into the kingdom. How does Saudi, with all its wonderful heritage and history, make sure it develops its own hospitality, its own restaurant personality, and doesn't just become seen as a me too or a copy paste of other cities? How do you think that's going to pan out?
I think when it comes to, if we look at Expo as an example, and I think during Expo, the best pavilion or the most recognized pavilion when it comes to awards was the Saudi pavilion. Everyone is very curious to understand more about the Saudi hospitality, our heritage, our stories. And I think Saudi is about stories. And we've been so secretive about our storytelling and about the ideas that are out in the market, or about the homegrown, the produce that is available. So when we took that project and we've developed the 13 different flavors of the region, give them a hint of what really Saudi is all about and how the Saudi farmers or producers are really making it out there. I think it's it's a very, very fascinating concept to them, and I think everyone wants to have a flavor of what is Saudi all about. And not just that, I think if, let's say you visit Al-Ula, the moment you land to Al-Ula, from the tour guide to the art curator, they're all Saudis. And this adds so much value to anyone's experience. The moment we actually, I took one of my friends to my Emirati friends there, they were fascinated. And I think that's Emirati, which is a very close Khaliji culture to Saudi. How about the international visitors? So it's really nice to look at the Saudis practicing different professions. And I think this adds definitely to the customer journey and to the experience of the visitors. And that's what we really aim for. It's not just the story, but it's also the people, the way they speak about the concept, the way they talk about the experience itself. And that's the uniqueness, and it won't be a benchmark. I don't think there is a benchmark for the kingdom.
And I think you touched on it briefly there, but this sort of the fascination, you've got these 13 different regions. It's not just one sort of country that's sort of homogenous everywhere, but you also touched on the produce from some of those regions as well, which I think, again, I don't think is really understood. There's that image internationally of it's a very desert sort of like place, but I think, you know better than anyone, some of those amazing products are available in the kingdom. Yeah. If you look at the region of Jazan, for example, and all the amazing things that are coming out of there.
I think the moment we start, even for example, for salt, the moment we started doing mango Jazan as an ice cream, people started feeling that it is relevant. They feel the pride. Yep. They feel it's part of them. It's part of the community. And I think that's the community engagement that people are really looking for. That's the connectivity that they want to have with their country, whether it's Saudis or visitors. And I think this is the value that we really add to the journey. And I think even when it comes to, let's say, somewhere Al-Ula, and I think this is a great example of how is a brand, or how does a brand really grow from just being inside a mall to a farm in Al-Ula. This added value to the brand itself, because you would discover the brand in different destinations. And I think it gave us an experience of how to deal with a remote destination that doesn't have talents, doesn't have a full ecosystem of a supply chain. Services are not available, but we made it. And I think even with the visit of His Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman, I think this added value to us, but then it gave us a hint of what type of exclusivity and experiences that the kingdom is trying to offer to its guests. And I think all of that comes in with a price. And today we will look at a market that is still young, immature, ecosystem is not well established, but then the full puzzle hopefully will be connected.
Thank you, team. Thank you. I could sit and chat to you all day, but I feel like I'm hogging you, and I know there's questions out there, because when I've chatted to people over the last few days, everyone's been very excited to get you out in public and have the chance to throw a few questions at you. So I'd love to throw the mic out onto the floor, see if anyone has any questions for Deem.
Let's not be shy. Okay, we'll go over to Lynn.
Hi, good morning. You mentioned about the Saudi market being ever-changing, and it's fast-growing at the moment. In terms of market research, how do you sort of keep up with that and, keep up with your research to know what needs to go where?
TikTok. I really don't have a TikTok account. I feel I'm too old for that, but I really believe that staying relevant is a key for the brand, because F&B brands are like fashion brands. Trends, hypes, you can do really well that specific year, but then you drop. And I think it happens because it's a dynamic market, it moves a lot. And I think the best research is to really sit around with people and collect data. We've stopped in salt, for example. The only reason we started with a truck is we wanted a very cheap way to test real estate. And back then, when we were at Kite Beach, or we were at the beach destination, it was sand, water, and us. Today, Miras came as a developer, major developers came in, and we started moving this space. So I think the best way to really try things is to test things, is to really try it out. And we found a cheap way to do it. And for staying relevant, it's definitely social media. But even with social media, it can shy away too quickly.
We've got time for one more question. I've got one here at the front.
Yeah, hello. What kind of filter do you use when you're evaluating whether to bring in a franchise brand like Joe and the Juice or build your own brand in the market?
I think Joe and the Juice specifically is a great brand. I don't think that they've dealt with their company like an F&B company. I feel that they've dealt with it as a technology company. Amazing app, amazing systems, a super efficient bar, speed of service, something that no one in the industry can actually do when it comes to from a design perspective. So I think we want to learn from imported products and services. They also have a patent product, which I think is very special, the bread itself. That was, a lot have tried to copy, however, it wasn't achieved well. And I think learning from the best is so important. So they're a great benchmark for us to really grow and to really scale. At the end of the day, what we do, we're a boutique company. We're 15 years old. We're not 40, 30 years old. When it comes to real estate strategy, they're 10 times better than us. They have a specific growth ideas and expansion plans. So for us, I think we wanted to learn that more than the creativity, the brand development. I think the technology part is something that we really wanted to understand.
Well, fabulous. Deem, a huge thank you. Always fabulous to catch up with you. Appreciate your time. And we'll catch up very soon. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.